President Trump is continuing to absolutely obliterate the EPA and, by extension, the environment. So in its third major move in 2 months to roll back climate change regulations, the EPA is about to weaken rules on emissions of methane, a potent greenhouse gas. So here are the specifics of what they're doing here. Under the law, now, they have to check for methane leaks every 6 months and repair those leaks within 30 days. Trump wants to make it a year in most cases and as infrequently as once every 2 years. And it would also reduce the amount of time, it would also double the amount of time that they can fix it from 30 to 60 days. Now, it also doubles the amount of time required between inspections of the equipment, and probably the worst part is it allows energy companies now to follow regulations laid out by the state as opposed to the federal government. So in other words, the federal regulations effectively become optional, where they go, oh, there are some state regulations in place, and those state regulations are more lax. So take Texas, for example, where they'd have looser regulations. Oh, just go ahead. Let the state take care of it, and then they have looser regulations, so don't worry about it, and the federal government will butt out. So again, this is a way of effectively like eliminating the EPA without literally eliminating the EPA. It just handcuffs them. And, the states are less likely to act on it. And a lot of these state governments are overwhelmingly Republican, and they're massively in favor of deregulation. So you can have a system where it's basically anarcho-capitalism, where it's like there's no rules, there's no regulations, forget the environment, and it's fine. And listen to this. This is incredible. Methane makes up only about 9% of greenhouse gases, but it's around 25 times more effective than carbon dioxide in trapping heat in the atmosphere. So the last thing you should do to protect the environment is to roll back regulations on methane. If anything, you should strengthen regulations on methane. No, they're rolling them back. Why? Because they're bought and owned by the industry, and they don't care about the consequences. In a capitalist system, this is called externalities. Unintended consequences of a capitalist system. The whole point of addressing the externalities, like regulations, their whole reason for existence is to address externalities in a capitalist system. When you have people, ideologues in place at the EPA, and when you have a vapid narcissist who doesn't care and doesn't know anything as president like Trump, what ends up happening? Well, they're corrupt and they end up doing the bidding of the energy industry, and then they end up making decisions that no rational person would make. If you're looking at this rationally and objectively, you would go, oh, that's crazy. No, we're not going to roll back methane regulations. We're going to increase methane regulations. But they're not looking at it like that. They're looking at it through the lens of industry, because they're bought and owned by the industry. And they don't care about the consequences because they care about money in the short run.